Do it.
Do it!
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Push it!
I'm not even bothering to script this. This is all off the cuff. This episode, this latest episode of The Mandalorian season 2 doesn't deserve a scripted episode. I've been the biggest critic of The Mandalorian since before it was cool to hate The Mandalorian, okay? I was criticizing it right from episode 1. Yeah, while everyone was still sucking its dick, I was like, yeah, this ain't that good, folks. And then the season 1 progressed. It got a little bit better, then it got tremendously worse. Season 2 came around. I was still kind of optimistic they could maybe turn the ship around. It immediately started off bad. It got even worse. Season 2, episode 3 was okay. Season 4, I actually liked at first, and it aged on me terribly. Episode 5, last week, I loved episode 5. I thought episode 5 was the best episode yet by far. Only for it to be followed by Season 2, Episode 6, which just so happened to be the worst. And I'm talking the worst by a long shot, alright? Because it has the shortest runtime, has the weakest story, and everything that happens, and I'm telling you, everything that happens in this episode is done by contrivance, plot holes, stupid character decisions, and just... It's an absolute mess. It's a clusterfuck. It's terrible. It's horrible. Give me 5 minutes and you'll be like, all right. That's gonna be a reaction to this video, okay? So I'm gonna start off by saying, all right, look, cut me some slack. All right, this is all off the cuff, and I'm trying really hard to keep my anger in check. This is the first time I've been genuinely angry with the show because it actually made me care. I actually cared a little bit after last episode. So let me do this show the courtesy of listing off the positives. The opening sequence. And that's it. Where Mando is taking Baby Yoda to the temple on Tython that Ahsoka Tano directed him to. And he actually has a nice little heart-to-heart with Grogu in the cockpit. And he's saying like how much Grogu's kind of grown on him, how it's going to be hard to say goodbye, how he thinks Grogu's a very special creature, and he's glad to have met him and all that. Not to mention, I thought it was kind of cute. Like they land on on Tython, and he has to park the ship away from the temple because it's not a safe landing zone. So he jetpacks Baby Yoda up to the temple where he can sit on the Seeing Stone and contact the Jedi with the Force. All right, now here's the part that's going to break the episode for you. This is the only time in the episode where Mando actually uses his jetpack. Yep. So keep that in mind as we move forward. And again, there's not really much to say. Baby Yoda sits on the Seeing Stone. Mando's wondering what the hell is going on. I'm still on board with the episode at this point. And then he sees, out of nowhere, Slave One, the ship of Boba Fett and Jango Fett, come out of the sky and land on the fields below right next to his ship. All right, now let's pump the brakes for a second. So this episode, one of the reasons that really pissed me off wasn't actually the episode itself, was how it was set up. This is more of a Disney problem than the episode's problem. But then again, every Mandalorian episode opens like this. It shows a little bit of a recap. So it showed a recap of episode 5 of season 1, where Mulan's voice actress, the 50-year-old hottie that any man with eyes would bang on a dime. Right? I'm glad she was in this episode, even though it was contrived as hell, because she's always cool to see, and Mulan's my favorite Disney movie, so whatever, just a little bit of a bias there. She is back with Tamara Morrison's Boba Fett, and they arrive on Tython together because apparently they've been tracking Mando. Now, in order for this to come to fruition, and this is the only convenience that I'm willing to buy and be like, yeah, okay, there's a little bit of convenience there, was Boba Fett, who we know is on Tatooine, or was last seen on Tatooine at this point, was the one to find Mulan's voice actress's, bounty hunters, essentially her corpse, and then heal her, even though he heals her with some bullshit cybernetics. It's really weird. Anyway, he's the one who finds her in the middle of the desert, somehow, some way, in time to save her life, mind you, he finds her, heals her, and now she's back in the fold. Right? That's the first convenience. Now, Mando, once Slave One sets down, Mando leaves Baby Yoda unattended to go see what the hell's happening. He leaves Baby Yoda unattended. This is the first time he leaves Baby Yoda unattended. He goes down there and he gets essentially ambushed by Boba Fett, who wants to have a word with him. Now, it turns out Boba Fett, this is where it gets really weird. Boba Fett, who we saw in episode 1 of season 2, was watching Mando ride off into the sunset with his father's armor, apparently, which is also his armor. We see somehow Boba Fett was there, and what follows is Boba Fett actually says he's been tracking Mandalorian because he wants the armor back. Okay, so Boba Fett shot his way out of the Sarlacc pit somehow. It's not explained. It's not shown. But he's there now, and he's talking, and I love Tamira Morrison. Tamira Morrison did a great job with what he was given. I have nothing against the actor. He did a phenomenal job. He's not the problem. The writing is the problem. If Boba Fett was after the armor, why the hell didn't he get it back from the Jobbers or back from Cobb Vanth himself? You know, Timothy Olyphant's character in episode 1. No, Mando has to show up, and then all of a sudden he's tracking Mando, and all of a sudden he wants his armor back. How did the Jawas even get the armor if he never wanted to get rid of it in the first place? Because it was sentimental to him, because it belonged to his dad, and it belonged to him. And we get revealed later it's been a part of their family in the Mandalorian bloodline for generations. How the hell did it end up with the Jawas? Why didn't he get it back then? And why the hell did he wait until Mando got it in order to all of a sudden want his armor back? And how the hell did he even track Mando this whole time? You figured he would have approached him on a different planet. He would have approached him on Ahsoka's planet, on Navarro. Nope, he tracks him somehow to Titan because that's where the plot needs him to go. With the bounty hunter sniper, Mulan's actress, he brings her along. And because he saved her life, apparently she's now in his service. When did bounty hunters get so, sentimental and just... When were bounty hunters such good guys? And they follow codes and shit. Boba Fett was just a ruthless bounty hunter who wanted money in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. In this episode, he lives by a creed, he lives by a code. He says he has allegiance to no one, but he gives Mandalorian his word at the end of the episode, he gives him his word on a promise that he wouldn't harm Baby Yoda, Grogu, or Mando, if he gets his father's armor back, which he had to take in the end. Mando didn't give it to him. And then at the end, he's like, oh, okay, I guess we gotta part ways now. Mando's like, and then Boba Fett's like, no, I agreed that I'd keep you and the child safe, and that's what I'm going to do. So he's like, oh, yeah, Disney want me to tag along so we can have a buddy cop, bounty hunter, action comedy skit going forward. I don't fucking know. Because that's what Disney want. And that's how they facilitate it. It's a joke. Everything is driven by contrivance, stupid character decisions, plot holes. It's all a mess. Anyway, they have a talk. He says, let's chat. And it's like, I want my armor back, or she's going to shoot Baby Yoda on top of the ridge. I have no idea. If you look at the shot, I have no idea how the hell she has a shot on Baby Yoda. Not to mention, he's covered by a force field, which Mando couldn't penetrate. And how the hell is she going to snipe him if he's covered in that force barrier? Mando's like, oh, no, don't shoot the baby. I'll cooperate. And then Boba Fett's like, let's put our weapons down. And then he's like, no, all right, you call off your sniper, and then I might put my weapon down. And he's like, it goes from, you need to put down your weapons, and then Boba Fett tells Mando, you got to put down the jetpack. And I'm like, I thought you wanted him to put down his weapons. Why do you want him to take off his jetpack? His jetpack's not the problem. His jetpack's fine. But he's like, yeah, okay, I got to put down my jetpack then. And after he takes off the jetpack and the Empire starts attacking, Mandalorian just so happens to pick his jetpack back up, because why would he pick up his jetpack? His jetpack's not important. And it's not like he used his jetpack to get up to the top of the fucking temple in the first place. No. The jetpack doesn't matter anymore. Which means you know what's going to happen. And not to mention, in addition with the recap, of getting back Mulan's voice actress, we also got a reminder that Moff Gideon put a tracker on Mando's ship because the first two people he saw on Navarro were apparently his informants, and they placed a tracker on him so that he and the rest of the Empire can link up with Mando just in the nick of time when the plot needs him to. So that's how this has all come together, and call bullshit if you want, I don't care. I predicted this. The second Ahsoka said, okay, you gotta go find this temple, I knew, based on the ending to episode 4, where he's like, okay, we will be ready because we have a tracker and we have dark troopers. I was like, okay. He's gonna go to this temple, he's gonna find something. Just before he's about to get answers, the Empire's gonna show up, and they're gonna capture Baby Yoda, and we're only gonna find out in the season finale what the hell he's after, and that's gonna bait the next season. And lo and behold, look at what happened. Only it happened in the most stupid fucking way possible. So, the Empire, and not to mention, this episode was called Chapter 14, The Tragedy. So we know the Empire's going to show up. We know Mando is after something. We know he's going to find answers. And we know that the Empire is likely going to capture Baby Yoda. The fact that they called this episode The Tragedy just further cemented my prediction, and my prediction came true. So, in addition to Boba Fett being there out of nowhere, out of bullshit, out of thin fucking air, he's there now. And along with Mulan's voice actress, which was convenience enough, but now they had to throw them into the fold because they need their team up. And they have to throw bad guys in there, so they throw stormtroopers, which land. Once the stormtroopers land, Mando's like, oh, I gotta get to Baby Yoda. He runs off without his jetpack, and then Boba Fett and Mulan's voice actress, they go to fight the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers, dear God, the stormtroopers are the worst in this episode that I have ever seen. They can't hit anything, but in addition to that, they don't even fire their guns. They are that inept, they don't even fire their weapons. Because it goes from, Mulan's voice actress and Jango, who has a rifle, by the way, mowing them down with blaster fire, to, we gotta have a super cool hand-to-hand combat action sequence, and they have Tamira Morrison, or his stunt double, using the Tusken Raider stick he had on Tatooine, and he's using that stick to brutalize the stormtroopers. And of course, every stormtrooper is 1 foot away from him when he decides to attack them. All of them approach without firing their weapons, and it's one of the worst choreographed action sequences I've ever seen. Because of course, it's so cliche Hollywood. They can't kill I guess is a protagonist. They can't. I've never seen. Okay, maybe I have seen some of the. This is some of the thickest plot armor I've ever seen for any character, as they had with Boba Fett. Do I keep calling him Jango? I'm sorry. With Boba Fett, he has the thickest plot armor in this episode. He doesn't get shot. They don't even try to shoot him. They walk up with their guns and try to hit him. Then they have Mulan's voice actress who's getting attacked, and then she's getting attacked by... They set up... The stormtroopers do something intelligent for once, I guess. They set up this turret, this heavy-duty turret, and they rain blaster fire on her, so to flush Mulan out of her sniping position. She then, instead of going back into cover, she gets up on the rocks into firing line, runs along the rocks, and of course every blaster shot from that heavy-duty turret machine gun blaster misses her. She does that, and gets behind a boulder. And then they're trying to shoot her behind the boulder. Besides, also the stormtroopers all of a sudden have mortars, like actual... like Vietnam, World War II style mortars. I'm like, where is your imagination, Disney? That's just a nitpick, but they have mortars now and they're trying to flush her out. She gets behind a boulder and then she proceeds to push the boulder down the mountain like she's in Indiana Jones, and the stormtroopers have the bright idea, hey, let's run away from the giant boulder that's going to flood us in the same direction that it's coming down the mountain. And the stormtroopers get flattened because they're fucking useless. More so now than ever before. And then the turret guy, because apparently this boulder is going to reach the turret, it keeps rolling. It finally hits the machine gun turret guy, who doesn't move because he's just sitting. He starts firing at the boulder with these blasters, and he gets bowled over like he's in a damn, like he's in a 10-pin bowling tournament. And I'm just like, what am I watching? And then like we cut back to Mando, who's like tending to Baby Yoda, who's up top, and then he touches the force barrier, and then he gets knocked out. no joke, he gets knocked out for a time, despite wearing Beskar armor, and the fact that he didn't even hit his head hard. If you watch closely, he just falls over. He just falls over. He's like, oh, he's out of commission. Then, as Mulan and Boba Fett are still attacking the stormtroopers, all of a sudden, out of the same ship, mind you, more stormtroopers emerge from the original ship, not a second ship. And then eventually a second ship comes and there's more reinforcements. But like throughout the battle, like a second group of troopers come out of the same ship, and I was like, where the hell were you guys? Where the hell were you guys? And then when Boba Fett's trying to take him out and he saves Mulan at one point, he's like, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. This guy's an idiot. Disney turned him into an idiot. Disney turned Mandalorian into an idiot. Because again, Mandalorian left his ship unlocked and his hatch is just wide open. And Boba Fett goes in there to get his dad's armor back, or his own armor. So he can become the ultimate Boba Fett again. Now, if Boba Fett could have just waltzed into Mando's ship because its hatch was unlocked, why in the hell did he go up to Mando and start a conversation with him in the first place? He could have just gone into his ship, taken the armor, and fucked off somewhere. He didn't even need to engage him in conversation, which wouldn't have left Mando without his jetpack, because yeah, apparently conversation renders Mandalorian, fearsome bounty hunter, without his jetpack. Conversation separates a Mandalorian from his jetpack, when I thought you couldn't separate one from the other, because it's just, you gotta be stupid to give up your jetpack and leave it behind. But yeah, he could have just taken his armor the whole time and just left, and the episode would have been over. Nope. Mandalorian could have picked up his jetpack, and the episode, it wouldn't have transpired the way it did. Nope. And then Mando wakes up sometime later. He goes down to help Mulan's voice actress. He's like, okay, I'm going to buy you some time, buddy. And he leaves Baby Yoda for a second time, even though they're under attack. And I'm going to help the guy, the lady and the bounty hunter that I don't know. And that I was about to shoot before. How do people go from nearly killing each other into allies always? They did it in they did it in episode 1 with the Marshal. They did it in they did it a couple of times in season 1. But yeah, so what happens next is Mando once again goes to risk his life to help the people that wanted him dead seconds ago. That plays out, and then we get the return of Boba Fett, and it's just cool. I mean, granted, like, you know, he comes back, and Boba Fett wrecking shit in his armor is kind of cool. Again, I got no problem with Tamira Morrison and how he portrayed the role, and it was probably a stunt double in the armor. I don't care. I'm still fine with it. But again, to get here, we had to get through a whole chunk of sheer fucking stupidity. And then the stormtroopers run off, and this part was really dumb. I don't know why they did this. The stormtroopers run off, and there's 2 ships flying up to the sky. Boba Fett aims for one of them, but he accidentally hits the second ship, which takes out the original ship. That he wanted to take out, and that kills 2 birds with one stone, or 1 missile, and that essentially did everything he needed it to do, even though it's not what he planned. And Mando even asked him, he's like, nice shot. And then Boba Fett's like, oh, I was aiming for the other one. Why would you put that in the episode? It just makes no sense. It makes Boba Fett look like an idiot who gets by on luck. Why would you do that? I don't get it. I don't understand why this is done. Oh, by the way, Mandalorian still doesn't have his jetpack. He hasn't gone. He has breathing room here, and he still hasn't gone back to get his jetpack. By the way, he says somewhere in the middle of the gunfight, he talks to Mulan's voice actress like, "Oh, I owe you from before, so we're even after this." He says he owes him from before. He owes her from before, despite the fact that she tried to kill him in the original episode that they were together in season 1. None of this makes any fucking sense. Next thing you know, finally the Empire shows some competence. The Razor Crest Mandalorian ship is shot from orbit by a Star Destroyer that shot a laser at it. It's not really a Star Destroyer, but it's it's like a Empire frigate of some kind, which I believe in episode 4 anyway of season 2, it was shown to have like ventral cannons, like cannons on like the belly of the ship, big ones too. And so because he has his stationary ship there, it's not moving. they were able to lock on, target it, and blow it up from orbit. And I was like, damn, all right, they blew up Mando's ship. Next thing you know, the ship, the Empire frigate is flying right above Baby Yoda, and then Moff Gideon is like, release the Dark Troopers. And then the Dark Troopers jetpack down, and then they try to snatch, well, they don't try. Baby Yoda, once Mando leaves for the second time, once again, because of sheer convenience on Disney's part, the force barrier that was protecting Grogu, it all of a sudden vanished and fucked off because now Baby Yoda needs to be taken by the Empire. The Dark Troopers land, there's absolutely no resistance, and the timing of this episode is just such a fuck you to the audience. They take Grogu, Mando is way too slow, he gets there at the very end, and they fly off, and I'm like, hey dude, they're flying away? Well, it's a pity you didn't have your jetpack. And they fly away, and then it's like, it's so sad because they took the creature, blah, blah, blah. And then Boba Fett flies up there in Slave One. He's like, oh my god, the Empire is back. And I'm like, shouldn't you guys have known this by now? You've had... anyway, I can't. Anyway, then for some reason they like, don't shoot, he doesn't want the child harmed. And then Boba Fett's like, understood. And it's like, they're working together, they're a full-on team now. And then he's like, okay, they went up to the ship, now I'm gonna come back. And I'm like, alright, like, it just plays out really weird. He like tails them. I'm like, can't you see the ship from there, from the ground level? Mando searches his ship wreckage, finds the Beskar spear that Ahsoka Tano gave him, which, fine, I guess. There's nothing wrong with that, because it is made of Beskar steel. It's kind of weird that a ship's hull integrity can get blown up, but the Beskar steel spear remains intact. But anyway, Beskar's a special man. Okay, I mean, fair enough. It can withstand being cut with a lightsaber, so I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt here. Then Boba Fett shows Mando that his armor has like a history log of him and his family. It belonged to him, then previously it belonged to his dad, and his dad was a foundling, and he was taken in by the Mandalorians. And apparently there's like some hokey lore there with Mando being, with Boba Fett and Jango Fett being like Mandalorians, and then that's in one canon, and in another canon it's like they're not Mandalorians. I don't know I don't really have a stake in that. But then he's like, okay, well, I guess we gotta part ways. And then Boba Fett's like, no, not quite. I have to stick around because the Disney plot needs me to stick around. So I promised you that I would keep the child safe and you guys would not come to harm. Until the child is in your care, we are in your debt. Except, no, Boba Fett took his father's armor back. Mando did not give it to him. And what the fuck happened to writing in 2020, guys? Because Boba Fett's a bounty hunter and he should have no attachment to Mando whatsoever. He should not want to help him. He should be gone by now. I don't even know why the hell they're still chatting. And it's like, no, we're friends now. We're gonna help you get your surrogate son back. And then Mando's like, okay, I gotta go to Navarro. I gotta talk to Gina or Cara Dune. Cara Dune's like, I can help you. What do you need? And he's like, I need you to find me the, Bill Burr from Season 1, Episode 6. You know, that shitty prison episode? Because apparently he's useful. And, we gotta pay that off somehow. And he's like, I'm kind of tired because I'm now working for the New Republic. I'm kind of tied up with rules now, even though I hate the Empire. And he's like, they have the baby. And then she's like... I'm like, why in the hell aren't you going to saying, Cara, they took Grogu, I need your help. Because she would agree instantly. Granted, there hasn't been much development on that front, but she very much likes the creature, and I'm pretty sure she would help. Even though the creature choked her, but whatever. But no, it's got to be like, no. It's like, I can't help you too much because of the Empire, because there are rules now. I'm bound by duty. And he's like, he has the child. They have the child. And it's like, and then, it's very cliche Hollywood, just like Boba Fett's stick-wielding scenes, or like cliche Hollywood dumpster fire action, just like the Stormtrooper incompetence is dumpster fire Hollywood action, just like the, oh my god, we're about to find something out, and then the bad guys take what they need away from them. Just like any cliche Hollywood production, just like Mando forgets something he crucially needs and never takes off, and something he uses on a daily basis that would have changed everything, like in cliche Hollywood dumpster fires. And then it cuts back to the Empire for the final scene. They're in space. Moff Gideon goes to Baby Yoda's prison cell. Nothing really happens here. He's just kind of amused that Baby Yoda force choking stormtroopers and throwing them around his prison cell. And he's just like, no, I'm evil. I'm going to let him do this for a bit longer. And then Baby Yoda exhausts himself, and Moff Gideon kind of gloats in front of him, ignites the dark saber because fan service, I guess. And then he's like, okay, tell the doc we got a donor now, and let's go find that lab. And then he leaves the room, and that's the end of the episode. That was the worst episode in Mandalorian by a country mile. Even the bad episodes in previous Mandalorian episodes, even the really bad ones, like, at least they had something to them. Like, in episode 4, at least you had the story of Mando kind of indulging in some of his humanity, and you had the story with the village. Episode 5, I'd say, was like the probably the worst episode of season 1, and the worst episode to date. The reason why I say this is worse than season 1, episode 5, is because that episode's awfulness was pretty much self-contained, whereas this episode is the big cliffhanger, and it is the big payoff to a number of setups and a number of different character roads that all led to this moment, and it was handled just oh so terribly. It was a writing nightmare. I was ripping out my hair when I was watching this episode. You know, the pieces, you know, that you could have done this. If they did more than just tease Boba Fett in the beginning there, they could have actually, like, built him up somewhat before this bit. But no, they had to have their surprise reveal with no setup, no development. He's just here now. They sacrificed nuance for shock value. You know, this is what happened with Game of Thrones season 8. They sacrificed nuance for shock value. They did the same thing at the end of episode 4. The Empire all of a sudden knows exactly where Mando's going to be. They didn't set that up. It's just, they were informants. They have a tracker on Mando's ship now. Surprise, surprise. And we have Dark Troopers as well. Not to mention Mulan's voice actress, who wasn't seen since season 1, episode 5. It's just awful. And I'm the angriest I've been at this show to date, because this is the first time episode 5 actually kind of made me care about the show. Before, I was just like, meh, it was bad, but I expected it. It was bad, I expected it. Yeah, that was better than I expected, but still kind of meh. Yeah, that was god awful, but I expected it. Yeah, that was terrible, but I expected it. Yeah, that was mediocre, but I expected it. Episode 5 of season 2, I did not expect to be great. That was great. This episode paid off that episode, plus episode 4 and episode 1 of this season and episode 5 of last season, and everything in between, in the most piss poor, terrible fucking manner that I could have imagined. I predicted what was going to happen, because Disney can't keep a secret to save their life, but I couldn't have predicted how badly it was put together, and it was put together terribly. Mando forgetting, just the whole Mando forgetting his jetpack in order to make the rest of the episode function. We didn't even get to see him fight the Dark Troopers. It was just, he's going to fight them next time. But he would have been fighting them if he had his jetpack. The fact that it's like he forgets his blaster. It's like he forgets to put on his helmet, his Mandalorian helmet, despite the fact that he can't be seen without it. That's how bad this is. And the fact that it again, this is just one thing, but I completely signed off this episode when I saw he didn't have a jetpack anymore. I was like, this breaks so much. This goes against every fiber of writing that exists. It makes the character look bad. It makes the plot function, which means it's a terrible fucking plot. This was written by people. This was written by Jon Favreau, apparently. And I usually like him as a writer. He's very hit and miss, but this is one of those instances where he just did not give a fuck. And it pains me to say that, it really does. But then again, this is a Disney product, and Disney Star Wars 99% of the time is just god awful. It's terrible. I don't know what to tell you guys. This episode was bad. It was really fucking bad. And nothing... I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know there's going to be people who have hit the dislike button by now and have left because... I've lost like hundreds of subscribers since I started talking about Mandalorian, despite me being correct every single fucking time, and I refuse to concede because I know I'm right. And I'm right now. And if you want to unsubscribe, that's fine. I couldn't care less because I'm right. And all I can do is tell the truth. And this is the truth. Like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he made a video saying that this episode was phenomenal. I love that guy. He's a great content creator. He's great at what he does. He's charismatic. He usually has fantastic takes. And you know what? What really depressed me about that video is he's a smart guy. And it ain't going to take long for the wheels to start turning in his brain. He's going to be like, oh, I shouldn't have made that video because this episode was fucking shit. Everyone's in the honeymoon phase with this episode right now. Everybody. Like with Season 8, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones, it's going to sour on them very quickly. They're going to realize, oh, that was fucking shit. And then they're going to do a backpedal like they should, and there's no shame in that because it's the truth. And they're going to say this episode was god-awful. In the case of Jeremy, he's going to be like, I should not have made that phenomenal video because, well, it was a bad episode. If you liked it, that's great. I got nothing against him liking it. Personally, I don't see how anyone can like this episode after you realize how broken it is. And, you know, what's even more depressing is Twitter and seeing the positive reception to this episode. It's really thrown my brain for a loop. But all I can do is tell the truth. This is the truth. I'm probably missing a few things because this isn't a scripted video. I usually script this shit out, but this episode doesn't deserve my respect. It doesn't deserve yours. It doesn't deserve my script writing. It doesn't deserve my full attention because I can give it like a fifth of my goddamn attention and still rip it to shreds. And yeah, this is the video you guys are getting because this is how much I give a shit about the fucking Mandalorian now. I used to care a bit more. I cared a lot last week. And people are going to say, oh, don't watch it then if you don't care. I'm like, yeah, I'm very close to just saying fuck the series. Fuck it. But the problem is I very much am a Star Wars fan. And I want it to be good. Even though it's done by the worst people in creative in Hollywood right now, I still want it to be good. That's how much I love George Lucas and I love his work and I want his product to thrive, even in his absence, even though it never will. You know, I just want this to be good. And this episode was a dumpster fire. And I stand by everything I've said. Quote me. Quote me. Stand by all of it. And there's nothing you guys can say or do to change that. Alright? Give it time. It'll click for you guys too. But yeah, that's my thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6. It was bad. This is my thoughts. Thank you for watching. I'm not going to bother giving an outro this time because... like, go back and watch my other episode video reviews of The Mandalorian. You'll see the outro there. You'll see what other things I have in store on YouTube. And I am just so depressed right now. I might go to bed. But, you know, take this video to heart. I know the people of you out there who can think will. And maybe the internet can come to the correct conclusion on The Mandalorian for once. Anyway, guys, that's all from me today. I'll see you later. Bye for now. And you're a legend for staying till the end of this rambly mess.